how to visualize your manifestation into physical form. This is what we're doing today because last week I did a video on inner visibility and how there is only visibility. It's either outer visibility or inner visibility. And today I wanted to answer some of your questions that you had from that video about visualizing, because this is a really important part of law of assumption. That's what we're doing today. Stick around. This channel is all about simplifying the law of assumption and helping you to apply the law of assumption to your reality so that you can see more of what it is that you want to experience while you are here in these beautiful physical forms. So simplify and apply, that is what we are all about here at this channel. My name is Hedley and I am a qualified life coach specializing in the law of assumption. So if you would like support with implementing any of these teachings or any of these principles, I am available for one-to-one law of assumption coaching. I also have a free self-concept course and a paid version of that course where I will take you through the 21 days from beginning to end. And I have my new book, I Am Money, Assume a New Story and Enjoy More Money, which will turn your current money story into a love story. You'll find all of that information in the box below this video or at my website, youaretheone.com.au. Okay, before we get into today's topic, I have a little bit of housekeeping. I have some new subscribers and some new viewers, so welcome. I am so happy you're here, and I did just want to go over a few things for anyone who is new to this channel. So number one, these teachings are specifically about simplifying the law of assumption and helping you to apply the law of assumption to your reality to get more of what it is that you want. And that is it. This channel is not about convincing anyone of the legitimacy of the law of assumption. And this channel is certainly not about debating or arguing or defending. Now, that's not to say skepticism is unwelcome. Skepticism is very, very welcome. But there is a healthy skepticism and there is an unhealthy skepticism. If you're skeptic but willing, that's awesome. You're in the right place. In fact, a good amount of healthy skepticism is really important for any kind of teaching. Number two, if you have a personal situation or you're looking for advice or support regarding a personal situation, you will need to book into a coaching session. Now, this doesn't mean you have to. If you just, for the entire life of this channel, enjoy the videos and download whatever free goodies that I have on offer and that's it, that's awesome. That's what it's all there for. You are never, ever expected to buy anything from me or spend any money with me, ever. However, if you would like more than what is currently on offer, you will have to invest in that because my time is valuable. My time is one of my greatest assets along with my health. If I multiply all of the emails and the DMs I get, these long emails and long DMs with these personal situations outlined, it takes a lot of time to read. It takes even longer to respond. And that is a lot of time that I could be investing in the other things that are really important to me. So I'm not trying to be rude when I'm not responding, but I do not respond to those messages, because that is my time and my time is valuable. So if you would like more of it, you will have to book in for a coaching session. That is why it's there. It doesn't mean you have to. It's an additional option if that's what you would like. Number three is the comments. Now, I love your comments. Thank you so much. Please keep them up. Almost 100% of the comments are amazing and beautiful and supportive and encouraging and engaging and all of those wonderful things, and I really appreciate them. I just want to explain the comments that I don't respond to. If the comments are demanding in any way, so you're demanding a response, you're demanding I do a video on this, or you're demanding something from me, I will not respond. Again, my time is important. I have zero interest in engaging in energy that feels icky. And demands made of me just make me feel icky. The other comment that I don't respond to is comments that look and appear to be legitimate, like you're asking a legitimate question, but there's something around the comment that just feels a bit off and a bit weird. If I find myself ruminating about a comment, I then catch myself going, okay, right, that's not a clean comment, remove it. Just because I'm the infinite I am of my reality and all characteristics exist within me, does not mean I'm going to entertain all of those characteristics. So if I have unfavorable characters showing up in my movie, those characters are not going to be showing up for very long because those characters are not going to survive the rewrite. I am constantly revising and rewriting and rescripting everything that's happening in my reality because I am on this path. I'm on this journey myself. I'm doing this work in the background myself. So with all of that said, I just want to thank all of you for your amazing comments and your engagement. I know so many of you have been with me for a really long time. You're doing this work, you're applying it, and you're seeing success. And that is what I love. That is what keeps me going. That is what inspires me. That is why I love this channel, because I just love sharing this with others who love it as much as I do. So I just want to thank all of you who are here and doing the work and engaging. And I do really love your comments. So please do keep them up. And with all of that said, we will now get into today's topic, which is how to visualize. This video, how to visualize, is the follow-up video to last week's video, Turn the Invisible into the Visible, which I would recommend that you watch that first and then come back to this one. I will link it above there because there were a few questions in response to that video, and I will answer those questions at the end because visualizing is such a big topic. Everyone has a different experience with it, and there are so many questions around it. So I did want to do a follow-up. But because it is such a big topic, I thought let's start with something that Neville shares in one of his lectures called Many Mansions from Neville Goddard's lecture series, volume 5. This is a technique to show you how visualizing or imagination works. So visualizing and imagination or imagining is kind of the same thing, but we are talking about conscious imagining, conscious visualizing, not daydreaming or fantasizing, because when we're talking about conscious visualizing or imagining, we are consciously placing ourselves in the scene. We're thinking from the end result we want to experience. Oftentimes when we're daydreaming or fantasizing, we're thinking of something that we would like to experience. So we're thinking from our current reality, we're thinking of the future reality, and oh my God, that would be so nice, I'd so love that. Think of all of the things that I would do with that money, or if I had that person, I'd do that. That's when we're thinking of something. And if we're thinking of something, we haven't entered the state of having it. And what visualizing does, or what conscious imagining does, is we are having to adjust our perspective to seeing things from the state of already having what we don't yet have in reality. And that takes a little bit of adjustment because we're used to seeing reality at the level of reality. When we go into our imagination, we have to adjust our perspective to seeing things and thinking of things and feeling about things from the perspective of already having what we haven't yet got in reality. It is an adjustment, and it does take practice, which is also why you want to be in your imagination, practicing this every single day. So with all of that said, let me share this technique Neville shares in Many Mansions from lecture series volume 5. Imagination is spiritual sensation. Now, take an object. I will just lead you in words. Take a tennis ball in your imaginary hands and feel it. You can feel it. To show you the difference, take a baseball. Can you discriminate between the two? Well now, take a ping pong ball. Can you discriminate between the three? If these are non-existent, you couldn't discriminate. How can you say that these do not exist and say that you can tell the difference between non-existent things? They do not at the moment exist in your outer mind senses. They don't, but they exist. All things exist now in the human imagination. That's where you felt it. You felt it in your imagination, and imagination is spiritual sensation. Well then, what does that mean? I saw it in my mind's eye and I felt the 3 different kinds of balls. Well, what does it mean? Well, now to test one. Take this and apply it to anything in the world. Apply it to mountains. Apply it to anything. And if you accept what you've done to test in your imagination, just wait. The vision has its own appointed hour. It ripens. It will flower. If it be long, then wait, for it is sure and will not be late. Habakkuk chapter 2 verse 13, Moffat's translation. It will come on time. Now, you have just imagined 3 different types of balls that do not exist in your reality, yet you are able to differentiate them in imagination. And essentially that is what visualizing is. You are consciously directing imagination to the experience of something that isn't in your reality. And you are seeing it and feeling it in your own way. And that's the thing. Visualizing or imagining is as individual as we are. We are all going to have our own experience. Now, for most of us, we've all experienced holding a tennis ball, a baseball, and a ping pong ball. It's pretty easy to differentiate between those three. If we are talking about realities that we have not experienced, so if you're talking about living in a mansion and you've only ever experienced living in apartments your entire life, then you are going to consciously direct imagination to what it would be like to live in a mansion, even though you have no physical experience of that in your reality. That is where you have to be creative, because all creation is finished. As I said in the last video, as Neville says repeatedly, all creation is finished, meaning all potentials already exist. So the version of you who is living in the mansion already exists, but it's not yet solidified. It's currently only in imagination. It's only in consciousness. So you have to direct your awareness to the version of you who is already living in the mansion. That's where you have to actually sit down with yourself and consciously direct awareness to the scene of what your life would look like from the perspective of being in that mansion. So I was trying to think of what's like an analogy that I can use to explain what visualizing is like. And this is probably not going to make sense to some of the younger generation, but prior to the digital age, when we would take photos, certainly the way I grew up is we would have little cameras and there would be a film in the camera, and the film was the negative that then we would take to a camera place and they would develop the photos for us. Now, when I was in school, I also took photography class, and so we learned to develop our own photos. Now, what we would do is we would take the photos, so the film was in the camera, we would take the photos and then we would go into a dark room in order to develop those photos. Now, the photos were developed from the negative, and the negative produced the photos in color that we would see once we were outside in the light. But in order to develop those photos, we had to go in a dark room. If you were to take the film out of the camera and expose the negative to the light, it would cancel out the film. We could only develop the film in a dark room. And that is what it is like to go into your imagination and develop the scene of what you would like to see in your reality. So your consciousness is your dark room. When you close your eyes, that's like going into your internal dark room. Your imagination is like the negative that produces the reality. Now, the negative, like on a film, looks a lot different to the color photograph that you see in reality, and that's the same with reality. When you're developing a scene in your imagination, you're essentially developing the negative. It appears negative. That means it's dark where the light is and it's light where the darkness is. It looks opposite to reality. The other thing about developing photos is when you place the photos in the special liquid, it actually takes some time for the image to appear. It's the same in your imagination. If you go into your internal dark room, there is an adjustment period. You're essentially shifting visibility. You're going from outer visibility to inner visibility, where you're seeing things in an opposite way. You're seeing the negative that is going to produce the positive in your reality. So it appears different. Now, the really important part of visualizing and conscious imagining is having an intention of seeing what you want to see before you go into your imagination. Think about the scene that you are going to be envisioning. So essentially you're setting an intention of the scene, and you only need one scene of the end result. If you want abundance, what is a scene that would confirm you have abundance in your reality? Think about it. You may need to take some time before you go into your imagination. Like, what would be a scene? What would be a reality that would confirm I am now living in abundance? Or what would be a scene that confirms I am now in my loving relationship? In summary, choose the scene that you are going to envision. What is the scene that confirms the state that you are wanting to experience in reality? Once you've got your scene, you know what you want to see, you go into your inner dark room, you close down your eyes, you shut out the outside world, you go within, and then you give yourself some time to adjust your visibility. That is where you bring yourself completely relaxed, and then you direct awareness to the scenes that you want to see, and then feel them like the tennis ball or the baseball. You want to really activate that sense of touch. So if you're in a new home, move your hands along the bench top of the kitchen. Do something that tells you you're in that scene. Really get into that sense of touch. So with all of that said, I just want to answer a few of your questions from last week's video. So Valerie, thank you so much. The question that I get that you're asking is, should you wait for the vision to appear? I would suggest that before you go into your imagination, think of what you would like to see. So have an intention of a scene that you would like to experience from that state of wealth. If you had the level of wealth that you are desiring, what would be a scene that would confirm that level of wealth? There's an infinite number of scenes you can choose from. So pick a scene and then go into your imagination. So I hope that answers your question. Jill, question from you, thank you. Aren't we supposed to let go of our desire for it to manifest or to receive it? I was under the impression that we weren't supposed to focus on it so much because then we keep it from manifesting. So Jill, in answer to your question, I know there's different schools of thought. I can only share what works for me and what I know works. Now, if you are finding yourself still desiring something, good luck trying to let that go. You have to be going in until you know you already have it. There's no point trying to let go of something that you want because you're just going to be pushing up against resistance of not having it. Another way of saying letting go is that sense of relief that you get where you know you already have it. The only way to let go of something is to know you have it. And the only way to have something is to experience it in your imagination. Once you have that conviction where you know it's done, that you have it, it's yours, then you can go on and imagine other things. But until such time, you have to be going into your imagination and embodying the state so it feels natural and familiar. Sometimes you can do that once, but sometimes you need to do that a few more times. It's very individual for whatever it is that you're manifesting. If you have any more questions, please do let me know. As always, please remember you are the amazing creators of your reality. You are the superstar of your show. You are the producers, the writers, the directors, and the actors in your movie. What you assume to be true will be so. So assume the best for you, assume the best for everyone in your movie too, and you will have an amazing life. And this is my wish, my vision, and my prayer for you and for me too. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for doing this work. Thank you for your wonderful comments. I really do appreciate them. If you haven't already, please make sure you subscribe to my channel. I will look forward to seeing you in the next video. Bye.